Hello and welcome back to the Cronecast at the Rising Moon. My name is Elaine, and on this channel, I do pick a card readings. I do the Spirit Guide monthly live every last Friday of the month, and that's what this is. First, we need to make sure I'm not making any noise. I hope everybody had a good May. It was live and eventful, and we have an eventful month coming up ahead of us. Be aware there aren't going to be astrology readings for June. I simply didn't have time to do them. When I first started trying to do them, there was some chaotic energy. And so I decided to wait. And by the time I had time to do them, I no longer had time to film them. So I apologize. So hopefully the astrology reads will go fine for everybody else. But this is a Spirit Guide Monthly for the collective. We have 4 piles and a pick a card presentation. Concentrate, see which one calls out to you. The piles are numbered. This is the energy that is coming up for you in June. In case you ever wonder how in the world I pick the titles, I pull a draw with my Spooky Junior deck, which is a divine message deck that gives me the idea for the title. And we have a leap of faith coming up, big success, but another reminder to live life in balance. All right, let's get this going. Hopefully that gave you enough time to pick a pile. On goes the light, goes the camera. Let's see how badly or how well I did right from jump. As per usual, this is the housekeeping time. I have my tabletops ready and all kinds of stuff this time. As usual, I went crazy with oracle cards. Why? Well, I have a genuine problem. That's why. Here we go. I just like to get lots and lots of information. As everybody knows, I try really hard to make sure I'm going in depth here. I believe it was like this. If I've just mixed it up, I apologize. It's not going to be that big of a difference. Here we go. 2, 3, 4. There we go. And I'll catch the timestamps. Will be edited in after the broadcast. And we're doing this a little bit early because I have a commitment that I need to keep later. And so I had to be doing this at a slightly different time. That's a little too high, so I'm going to drop it down 1 notch. Here we go. What an eventful month, huh? I hope everybody's well. I hope you had a wonderful month. Is it still too high? We're going to find out soon. Let's see, the Angels Tarot, which there is a link to the site that sells this in the description box down below. And they've provided all the viewers here with a 20% discount. I don't receive anything if you order it. They just send me decks occasionally and I use them. I actually really like it. Let's get started. Pile number 1. With your oracle cards for June of 2022. What have we got going in June? I have Utopia, Peace, Serenity, and Paradise. Well, that sounds delightful. Sign me up. I have Make No Judgments. That is a hard energy to inhabit. Remember, judgment is against a person for their experience. Sometimes the actions that people undertake have consequences with them. And that's not the same thing as personally judging them. We learn the best from our mistakes. We all have room to grow. All people, all places, all things are trying to expand, which does mean making mistakes and moving beyond them. And that's part of what the No Judgments is about. It's also not about judging yourself. Remember, we all make mistakes. We all get things wrong. And the easiest way to learn and to expand and to grow and to get better results is to be like, hey, I was wrong about that. And it will give you the opportunity for you to expand your experience. We have turned being wrong into something that is shameful, and there is no shame in being wrong. Literally, the only way to learn something new is to receive information that you did not have before. And so we are all on a learning experience, on a learning path. Make no judgments of people who are at a different stage in their journey, or perhaps pursuing a different life course. I have Feel Joy in all that you do. Boy, Serenity, Peace, Utopia, and Feel Joy. Yippee. Imagination. I embrace and nourish the creative aspect of my mind. Boy, I was getting like there's a lot of like renewal energy for June. Happiness. I am aware that being happy means that I'm on the right path. Well, pile number 1, you so far have the best energy. Here's your angel answer card and your cookie card. And the premise behind this is at the end of the reading, I will reveal the angel answers card and the cookie card and the angel answer card. Hopefully, if you have a question that I did not answer here, the angel answer card will give it to you. We have 2 archetype cards for the shadow attributes and the type of personalities that you'll likely encounter in June. I have mother. Oh, let's put this in the other direction. Destroyer. That destroyer is, remember, in order for something new to begin, something old has to end. So don't resent endings. Destroyer, light attributes, releasing what is potentially destructive, preparing for new life. Shadow attribute is intoxication and destructive power, destroying others' dreams or potential. Any gain that we make that comes at the cost of holding somebody else back or punishing them will only ever be temporary. Please keep that in mind when you look around the world and wonder how people can do such horrible things to gain. They're not gaining what they think they are. We have mother, light attributes, nurturance, patience, unconditional love, joy in giving birth to life. It's a lot of new beginnings and a lot of joy. Shadow attributes, smothering or abandoning children, instilling guilt in children for becoming independent. Remember, the goal of parenting, and I have a son who is almost 32, the goal in parenting is to raise autonomous and independent people. Don't try and be overly involved in older children's lives. And if your parents are pushing boundaries around that, understand that it is within your personal rights to set boundaries. Codependency exists in families as well. This is a beautiful energy, though. Lots of new beginnings, lots of imaginative projects, so much happiness and joy. And I love that paradise energy as well. Foggy bog, which is patience. Remember, everything has to start from a seed, flourish, and grow. New beginnings mean that there is a process. Nothing is instantaneous, or many things can be, but in order to be enduring quality, they usually take time. Like the magic that I've done to help myself succeed is very slow moving because I needed to heal a great deal. And then also because I would like to retain everything that I'm trying to manifest. I'm always talking about flash and thunder manifestation, which is basically a form of chaos magic, which is what the law of manifestation encourages. Since it does not root things in the 4 elements, it has a harder time essentially taking root within reality. And the manifestations are likely to be fleeting or to cost from a different area of life. And so that's why I'm always saying there's a flaw within the law of manifestation. The way to correct that is to heal whatever trauma you have, any darker energies, darker pain, things that are still there. Even when we're not acknowledging them, if you have unhealed trauma, it's there. And we need to understand it so we can understand who we are. It looks like there has been a lot of change in your life and you've had some resentment towards it. You're doing well with the work you're doing on it, though. We have chop wood and why. Why? Okay, the why energy is a hard one on a healing journey. Why did this terrible thing have to happen? Why did that terrible national tragedy just happen? Unfortunately, this is an existence that does have pain, and it does have struggle, and it does have challenge, and it does have many energetic invitations to grow, to change, to prosper, to advance, and to evolve. And some things have to end before new things can begin. And this is not a life without suffering. But the suffering that we feel is part of what makes the joy we feel so acute, meaning that the contrast, there is experiencing the contrast actually helps enhance the good things that come. I know we've had particularly a really rough week in the United States. Embrace all that you love and have in the here and the now. It is one of the reminders that nothing is truly permanent, and to truly celebrate that which we have, those who we love. And to try and understand and be kind to each other. That's just helpful. Let's go with the Angels deck. Let's go for June 2022. What's coming up for pile number 1? Aside from like kind of a lot of fun stuff. Now the go slow and patience energy is, it looks like there's opportunity, particularly within your professional life. Don't focus just on one area of your life. Remember that thing where things can be taken away with almost no notice. Make sure don't put things off. Don't put off enjoying your life, celebrating with friends, doing things that interest you, rounding out your existence. I can be very, very guilty of being a workaholic, and I've been very good about it in the month of May because I got like yelled at too. And so I finally was, and it helped a great deal. We have the Knight of Wands in the upright. That is the inspiration energy. That is a passionate, that's life. You're going to feel invigorated in the month of June is what that is saying. With the Chariot in the upright, that is going forward, being pulled in two different directions. It's also a card for success. With the King of Wands in the upright, which is a manifestation energy, it can be Leo, Sagittarius, or Aries. It's air, fire sign energy. Actually, kind of a lot of fire sign energy here. Now, the Chariot is the Cancer card. I don't think it has anything to do with that. Some of you may be moving within the month of June as well. That's a good traveling energy. It's an excellent, there's so much business energy on this. Imagination and happiness. Let's keep going. There's a creative spark in your life that I really like in June. With the Page of Wands in the upright, fire, fire, fire. King of Cups in the upright, well, that's good emotional balance. It's water sign energy as well. Keep in mind, I rarely call out the astrological implications because I'm an empathic and an intuitive reader. The King of Cups is an emotional grown-up. That's how I'm always describing the King of Cups. And remember, gender is meaningless in tarot. It genuinely is. The queens are gestating an energy and the kings are manifesting them. They don't genuinely have anything to do with gender. Now, they can in love readings when you're trying to identify a partner, but overall, there's no meaning in gender in tarot. Three of Wands in the upright. So many wands, my friends. This is also opportunity, anticipation, your efforts returning to you. I love this energy. Seven of Pentacles in reverse. Seven of Cups in reverse just fell out into my lap as well. Long worked for dreams, things that you have been toiling for, like you're starting to really get a return on them. Take a measured approach. You struggle with that. My collective is a bunch of healers, and we have a lot of work to do going forward. Don't exhaust yourself. Remember, it is a marathon, not a sprint. Wheel of Fortune in the upright in the hopes and fears, digging it. Five of Wands in the upright. Okay, now listen, let me go into, and I will probably say it over and over again for each pile because I will edit in the timestamps after the broadcast, but this is live. I do have what looks like some conflicts coming up particularly within the United States. It does not look extreme, but there is some unrest. Remember, you choose your experience. So focus on that which is good and accomplishing things that can make things better, and you will live in the energy you are creating. The Eight of Cups in the upright, that is movement, that is movement, that is progress, moving on, leaving the things of the past behind as you go into a new energy. That fits with the Fool, which I drew earlier. Ace of Pentacles in the upright, success and new beginnings, yay. Hierophant in the upright, that's the card for Tauruses, it's the card for traditional marriage, it's the card for the patriarchy, quite frankly, but it's also the card for faith. I have the Ten of Wands in reverse, releasing things, not worrying about things. This is a card of not straining to do too much, as is that. Four of Wands in the upright. Well, that is, for some people, you're going to have likely a party to go to or a wedding. We're going to get to that. I will break that down in a minute. I have the Four of Pentacles in reverse, 4-4. This was here, that was there. That's a download code. Fours are about stability. They are about security. They are about having a firm foundation and being rooted in all of the elements. It's a very good manifesting energy. When you get 4-4 like that as a download code, that is an expansion in your personal energy, shoring up and strengthening an ability. And with fours, that's very good for security, which a lot of this is about security. Two of Cups in the upright, lucky number one, with the Lovers in the upright. And in fact, it is Gemini season. And in Gemini season, we are more likely to pair up than we are at any other time of the year. But it does look like there is a romantic pairing on the table for those of you who are seeking it. Nine of Swords in reverse. Hermit in the upright, that's 9-9. 9 in reverse, 9 in the upright. Remember, 1 in reverse, 1 in the upright, or 1 in the upright, 1 in reverse. Has to do with download codes and expansions for light workers, for light warriors, for healers, for star seeds. And again, over and over again, I will say this, the narrative around that is not literal. There are things beyond our understanding in this current shape and form. It is a way for us to understand something versus the literal truth. And then I have the Temperance card in the upright, which is the Sagittarius card with all of that fire sign energy. That's kind of interesting to see. All right, let's break this guy down. Some of you are going on vacation and very likely to meet somebody in that particular. It looks like it's got more than a fling energy around it as well. If you have a trip planned, know that you're going to you're going to be having a holiday. You're going to be having a holiday in a lot of different ways. Lots of relaxation on this table, but a business development with that Ace of Pentacles as well. It's coming in at the end of the month. As I said, there is some progress in the greater world, but it does not come, there's some struggle around it. Now, it's not heinous. It's not heinous. Like I said, try and focus on what you can impact and don't spend your energy fretting and worrying about things beyond your control. Meaning, don't just doom scroll on Twitter. Enjoy your life, make your plans for the future, and know that the best thing that you can contribute to a thriving energy going forward is your purposeful energy trying to make things better, because that's what healers try and do. They try and make things better. Let's go with the Andorra deck. I think that's what it's called, to get a fortune reading card. Or one or two. 1 and 2 and 3. Listen, the only thing that happens is that you have a fluctuating mood energy in the month of June. Lots of good work opportunities. If you're looking for work, I have at least 2 offers on the table. I'm not seeing, like, it's like you learned a lesson around overextending yourself. Like, you can't build Rome in a day or anything. As always, there's somebody who rides a chopper up and down there. Way down at the end of the street, there is a vegan restaurant right next to a biker bar. It's like just the strangest duality down there, but every now and then they'll ride up and down the street, and I apologize for the noise. We have the Wyvern. Your secrets are safe. That is allowing yourself to trust yourself and others. With the Black Cat, your luck will soon change. And with everything on this table, it says that it's going in a good and a strong direction as well. The thing that you need to be open to is, don't think that the trend of now predicts the future. It doesn't. Things can change at a moment's notice. I do not have any towers here, but I do have this kind of like push and pull energy around trying to make things better. As I said, this particular collective is focusing on their own stuff. And I have some sexy fun time for the people who are interested in it. There's no dating app action around it either. It's all very real world and practical. Not that there's anything wrong with dating apps, there really just isn't, but like if we want to solve the situation of not being able to truly connect with others in an authentic manner, we kind of have to change the approach we take towards meeting others. Meeting people through interest groups, through classes, through gyms, through community interest groups as well. Remember, if you want a different outcome in your life, you have to take different actions. So you have to be open and receptive to new things. Let's go with the Infinity Oracle. What do I have for pile number 1? So much happiness. And the only thing is why, but I think that is not a personal energy. I think that's not a personal energy. I think it's just a confusing time. Here we go, 1 and 2. And 3, as I said, I've got an invitation. I think you've already had this invitation, though. It's for a wedding or for a party. Like I said, there's somebody there. Busy and distracted, soulmate, past life relationship, regrets, and then energy cleanse. Okay. When looking backwards at anything, don't get caught in that why energy. Why did this happen? Why did that happen? If something has already happened, it is a waste of your life's energy to try and pick it apart to figure out why, because realistically, hardly anything that happens to anyone is about what we deserve or don't deserve. It really isn't. Some wonderful, beautiful, amazing people get handed very, very difficult set of circumstances. It's not because they're not cared about. We genuinely, the way we invest in this life sometimes is we think we want these very, 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 very easy lives. And I say it over and over again, when in reality, we live best in a varied experience. And this does say that there's something coming up for you, and it may, and it's a romantic something, and it may make you question why it could not have worked out sooner in your life, because you needed to be the version of you that you are right now. in order for it to work out. And you can embrace an experience, whether you're 25 or 85, with a full and open heart. Don't fall for a narrative that says that you have to be, 21 years old forever to truly have zest and passion and gusto for life. You can have as much zest, passion, and gusto as you determine that you will. Happiness, joy, imagination all over this table, and you can figure out what that implies for a love pairing. Here we go, 1 and 2. And 3, this is the Messages of Love Oracle. I'm going to be doing some more love readings. I didn't get a lot of videos out over May. Like I said, I finally had to just take kind of a concentrated rest for a while. Strictly sexual. This connection is passionate but not enduring. That's my little vacation getaway. People, remember, physical pleasure is worth investing in. Not everything has to be a great big long love story to be worth having. You could learn the most about yourself, what other people see in you, what you see in other people. If you're comfortable with just hook up, have fun, enjoy it. We are meant to enjoy our bodies. This is a physical experience. Then I have self-care, clear your energy. You got clearing before as well. Whenever you're trying to clear, align your chakras. Jason Stevenson, Meditative Mind. Those are the ones that I have a tendency to recommend the most. But you can also use tuning forks. There's all over YouTube and TikTok and almost every streaming platform. There are people who are providing free Reiki, free sound bowls, and free tuning forks. If you don't have the money to spend on going to a Reiki master, you can still find cleansing energy. That healers are very good about giving. And the more you give, the more you receive. And then I have, unplug. Working less will help strengthen your relationship. Release. Radical acceptance and surrender can help you let go. Surrender, 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 surrender. We get tired of hearing the word surrender because I think when people think they have achieved surrender, they believe that everything that they're hoping for will come in. Okay, I've surrendered. And that means like 4 days from now, everything that I'm hoping for will show up and ring my doorbell. And it just doesn't quite work that way. Surrender is a state of being. It's not a destination. It means that you haven't arrived when you've surrendered. You've begun when you've surrendered. Let's go. Here we go. 1 and 2. I'm going to use Teacher Lang's deck as well, the Apparently So deck. It's perfect for me because it's very, very straightforward. There is a link for that in the description box down below. Again, I don't receive anything if you order it. She's just one of my clients. I love the deck. I told her she sent it to me. I would feature it. And it's really been a lot of fun. All right, here we go. I have love. Oh, pile number 1, you're getting busy. Love surrounds all your connections. Move forward positively in all areas of your life. Throughout the month of June, please have that as your little bitty battle cry, which is that I choose my emotional direction. Choose your emotional direction and you will be choosing your experience. And it is okay to be sad or depressed or anxious sometimes. We're not meant to eradicate or deny or repress our sadder or darker feelings. We're meant to experience this in a full manner. You're just asked to kind of understand why I feel something so that you can have a greater understanding of self, which leads to a greater understanding of others, which leads to a greater overall experience. Let's get a card from the Apparently So deck, which I love that it's square. I like some of these cards can be hilarious trying to shuffle them, and I can't give them to clients when I read in person because they're just terrified. And this is beautiful, this little blue square deck. Good luck. Apparently blessings of good fortune come when the next moon is done. Hey, the new moon is on Monday. It is the new moon in Gemini. If you have been hoping for blocked partnership, if you were denied a relationship, remember it really was because there is something better for you. But where was I going with the good luck thing? Blessings of good fortune come when the next moon is done. Okay, the moon in Gemini is the perfect time if you've been hoping for love, if you've been hoping for personal increase, if you've been hoping even for partnership within business, then the new moon in Gemini is the perfect time to do some manifestation work around that. If you do not do any type of magic, then what you can do is burn some bay leaves in an intention candle. And you can write on them with a marker or with a pen. You can use colors for color magic as well, what it is you're trying to draw towards you. The new moon in Gemini is just kind of very strong for anything relating to personal relationships. What else are we going to get here? Let's get your energy cards. Let's get some enchanted map. And then I do want some wellness cards as well. And then we'll get your angel answers and your cookie card and we'll get the heck out of here. Very, very, very good success energy. A reminder once again that because in people with codependency issues, remember I'm codependent, it's not an insult, it is a traumatic emotional injury, usually dating from early in your life where you did not bond properly with your caretakers through no fault of your own. It's almost always because of withholding or sometimes punishing caretakers, but it can also form simply because your parents are very codependent. There are different variations of it and different degrees of it. It can turn very, very toxic though. And I was in a terribly, terribly toxic relationship. And I also grew up in a very, very toxic atmosphere and had to unlearn all of the insane amounts of toxicity that I had been, kind of steeped in as a child. But I did. If you keep doing your work, you can keep improving every relationship that you have. And for codependent people, the compulsion to do everything in excess is another one of the signs of something to heal. And it's one of the reasons that I finally listened and was like, yeah, I should probably just take a very balanced existence towards work right now, because the world's very uncertain and you can't get everything done just by sheer force of will, even though I would greatly like to sometimes. Let's get going here. 1 and 2. What do we got for pile number 1? I love so much luck on this table. I just love it. Good for you, pile number 1. Make good fortune find you and stay with you. We've got Goddess of the Moon, strong fire and intuition. Don't second guess yourself as much as you do. 3rd chakra, Archangel Chamuel, which is passion. You have pile number 1's getting lucky with the thinking man. And then 2nd chakra, Archangel Ariel. Personal power and passion, blossoming abundance. If it has felt like you've been just tested, and it probably should have, because like I said, I have a collective of healers who are kind of being prepared for a time in which more healing is needed. And all of the energies that you've been trying to resolve so that you can live in your most powerful and helpful energy has brought you probably a bunch of, it's like undergoing a long, long stress test in a medical environment where they try and find your vulnerabilities. There we go. And one of the things to be aware of is that even when it turns towards a positive direction, getting what you want, don't hyper focus on things. It's not a way to retain things. It's not one of the things that will keep you secure or keep your love by your side or keep money in your bank. You cannot put all of your energy into one area of your life without borrowing it from another. Try to live in a balanced state. Let's get your enchanted map cards. 1 and 2. I want wellness cards on this one too. Oh, don't forget your romance angel. Although apparently your romance angel is going to be like, have fun. There we go. Compass. Listening to your inner moral guidance is one of the best ways that you can have the best manifestations and the best outcomes in your life. It is if you are working in good intent, it is very, very difficult for anybody to interfere with you or impede you, and your energy will return to you. I have encouragement, which is having guidance available to you, people around you, also the reminder that you're never truly alone. Even when you feel like you're alone, you're not. Whoa, and then come together. Well, we knew that was going to happen. There's dry desert. I'm putting it away because nothing else has supported that one. There's a lot of fun. There's a lot of connection. It's almost like, I don't know, it's almost like there was all this strain to accomplish something. And finally, this ability to relax, being like, it's not making any difference. I might as well enjoy my life. And that's the energy around the collective as well. Try to make sure every single day that you spend time trying to find something that is worth celebrating on some level, even if it's just your morning cup of coffee or whatever it is that makes you feel delight in the ability to have sensation, to see, to taste, to experience. Every time I look out the windows here, I have beautiful views. I don't live in a particularly expensive place. In fact, I live in kind of a bargain for the area, but every single one of my windows looks out on trees and I see butterflies and hummingbirds and hawks and quail and all kinds of stuff all day long. 1 and 2 and 3. And that is a blessing, and it is part of living an abundant life. And it is one of the ways to reset your energy, particularly if you're struggling with mood management. Choosing your emotional direction can help tremendously with anxiety. New love. Oh, we knew that. So for some people, I've got you're going on a little trip and you're meeting somebody and it's a little hot and heavy, but I don't think that there's a lot of enduring quality around it. But I do have a soulmate pairing on this particular table. Where's my deck? There's my deck. You have somebody coming up in Gemini season, pile number 1, possible fire sign, possible water sign, lots of hot and heavy action. You will be tested around how well you're healed. And remember, if you've been waiting a little while to find a person, don't put all of your energy into that relationship. Your primary relationship is always with yourself first, because that's who you always have with you. People can be drawn away. People can unfortunately die. People cannot be who they say they are. If you have a very strong relationship with self, then none of that lays you low for long. You just pick yourself up and you keep going forward, knowing that you have always been the key to your success. All right, your angel answer is ask for help from others. Don't have to do everything by yourself. And again, not everything in one day. And then perseverance. You may feel like you are getting nowhere, but there are wonderful changes ahead. Don't give up. I think that a whole bunch of people reached burnout stage. And then after that, they finally, it's like the universe will exhaust us to make us surrender occasionally. And remember, surrender is the start, not the end. All right. Hey, group number. I never got your wellness cards. I beg your pardon. Let's go ahead and get them because they can have very good information, particularly about relationships, particularly about healing journeys. What's going on for group number 1? I didn't put out my tabletop. I'm a little scattered. I will put it out for the next group. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. All right, not sure. Keys on a ring, many options. Decision, unconventional, string along, and one night stand. I did have like just having some sexy fun times for the sake of having them. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Like I said, we're here to enjoy our experiences. Cupid's arrow, have faith, love is coming, surprise, invitation, or meeting. And then hesitation. I'll probably discuss that in another group around what hesitation is. One of the funniest things about finally being healed is being freaked out at the thought of like, am I sure I want to do that again? No, that's a normal part of healing. If you have been codependent in the past and you have done all of your healing work, the very first time that there's like, well, maybe that's a person worth getting to know, there is a kind of like, that was perilous. That did not do great things for me. It better be somebody interesting and special for me to risk that. So if you do experience a triggering feeling, particularly around trauma, particularly if you were abused, it's normal. It's normal. And it does not mean that you have to be single for the rest of all time. It is just one of the signs that taking things slowly will benefit you the most. It is absolutely normal to have a slower healing path on trauma. The longer it takes to heal, the more likely it is to be permanent as healing as well. So don't be disheartened if things have taken a little bit longer than you want them to. Pile number 1, that was your energy for June. Look for new people, look for new experiences, look for more and more evidence that the universe is talking to you. And remember, a balanced state where we represent all elements, which is intellectual thinking, emotional, being grounded in the here and now, getting done what we want to, and then acknowledging our feelings as well, keeps all elements in balance within us. All right, I will see you in July. Take care, be well. Here we go. I found my tabletops. I forgot to put them out for the first group. Let's go for pile number 2. I have no idea what tarot deck this is. None whatsoever, but there it is, and that's the one we're using for your predictive spread. I'm sorry, if you could see my office, it is the land of tarot. All over the place, there are tarot decks, and now I have simply forgotten. Tarot of the Divine, I think. Tarot of the Divine. Let's get going with your oracle cards. I have failure. I understand that a mistake is only an opportunity to learn. I understand that I still have allergies all day, every day. I live in Southern California. There's always something blooming. Your angel answers card, your cookie card is over here. Angel answers card hopefully gives you an answer to a question that if I did not answer it, the angel answer will. And then the cookie card is usually just for fun, although they're not always positive messages. And then for your archetype cards, these are the energies to watch out for yourself and others, and it helps us give a window into our shadow work. Shadow work is about resolving the parts of your personality that were formed in trauma, not so that you can eradicate them. Nothing about you is meant to be amputated, but rather understood and controlled. Martyr, light attribute, learning the transcendent nature of service to oneself or a cause. Shadow attribute is addiction to self-pity. Hey, remember when people talk about one of the things that can treat anxiety and depression is volunteering? Getting out of your own headspace can be tremendous. I very frequently have to take time off of work to recharge. Well, not very frequently, I'm probably not as frequently as I should. By the time I get back to it, I'm just so glad to see my clients again, because trying to help people gives better balance and better perspective in life. If you have really been struggling, find something that you can do to give back to the world, and immediately your energy in it will feel better because you are doing something productive and positive and trying to make a difference within your own life and others. And that gives us a feeling of power. Then I have a rescuer. Light attributes, provides strength and support to others in crisis, acts out of love with no expectation of reward. You can get so much done if you're willing to not be the person who takes credit for it. I'm always saying that you can get, if you know what to do and you don't mind not getting credit for it, be the person making the suggestions. And I would not care if I got credit for anything in this world if we could simply help make it better for as many people as we could. We have shadow attributes is assume that the rescued will reciprocate, keeps the rescued one needy. Remember as well that part of codependency, particularly when it comes to romantic partners, friends, and children, there is a sense of personal power that comes with solving our own problems. Don't be too anxious to get in there and fix something for somebody. It's not that you want to watch somebody flail and try, but building blocks for self-worth, self-belief, self-love are contained within the knowledge that we can take care of ourselves, we can solve our problems, that we are enough, and we are enough. But sometimes it can be very hard for people to kind of have that knowledge take root in them and flourish. I have peace. I hope so. Time for a nap. Regroup. If you've had something that didn't work out, don't feel like there's the sort of Damocles is dangling over your head. There's less urgency to a situation than you think there is. If you tried and you tried and you tried, and it's like, well, that didn't turn out to be the right approach, look for what you learned from it. And then also allow yourself enough time to do that, to learn the lesson, to examine it, to understand what went wrong and what went right. Because failure is hardly ever absolute. And failure, we carry shame with it, and we shouldn't. And because it is the thing that actually makes us improve, makes us learn new things, makes us understand that we are resilient and not easily defeated. Failure is not a bad thing if we look for the lessons and we expand afterwards. I have wolf spirit, family. Be careful with this martyr, rescuer, and family energy, particularly for my parents out there. Do not sacrifice self entirely for your kids. And here's why. One of the lessons that you want to make sure your kids understand is that a parent, be it a mom or a dad, is not negated by having children. The best way to raise strong and independent and autonomous, self-loving people is to remember that you need to model that as well, and that there is worth in solving a problem. Giving somebody advice is different than solving a problem for them. It's hard to watch, and there's that failure energy too. It's hard to watch people we care about struggling, but when they overcome and they triumph, the resulting self-worth and self-esteem is beautiful to see. Don't prevent the struggles of those you love. It's a form of enabling. And it's another one of those last parts to heal of codependency. One of the things I love about my collective is we've all been healing for kind of a long time. And now it's like we're tidying up the little like dust bunnies of codependency versus like trying to suture up the gaping wounds. All right, I have awakening. Ancient knowledge, memories, and connection. When you're truly whole and unified within, when you have healed your trauma, that is when you are most directly connected to your divine self. You have ancient knowledge available to you, ancestral knowledge. You are able to kind of tap into a collective energy and a collective knowledge as well. You ever expand when you are able to be at peace with yourself, to be in union with yourself, to accept everything about yourself as being purposeful. There were no mistakes in you. Even if you had to learn a great many things, and I'm always sharing my hideous backstory because I had wonderful things happen as well, but it was very, very challenging. And I had to unlearn a lot of things. And like my 20s are just like, oh my God, I wasn't okay. I had an incredibly abusive childhood and I wasn't okay. And it took me a while to heal. And the thing that I could do is concentrate on how many times I screwed up, or I could concentrate on, but look how much better I do. Look how I never gave up. Look how I learned from that. Look what that mistake or that failure did for me. Try to remember that we all have something to overcome. Never look down on a former version of yourself, even if you have things that you want to be held accountable for, because that is part of self-love. Self-love is not just saying, I love me. Self-love is saying, I accept me, even if it means that I made mistakes that I sometimes need to make amends for or atone for. And yep, there's the awakening. I like this because it's like there's a little bitty lesson around don't rush in, don't be the savior. If you really think the person, I guess I want to say model the behavior for the person that you're trying to help. It will help them the most in the long run. Face your shadow. Learn from your mistakes. Holy crap. Okay. Learn from your mistakes. I never look at these beforehand, so that really, really took me off guard. Do not look back at your life for the things that went wrong and for this why energy, because realistically, everybody has struggles sincerely. Look for the ways in which you have expanded, grown, become more powerful, had greater understanding of self. And when you have greater understanding of self, you have greater understanding of others. When you have greater understanding of others, you can move through the world more effectively and more powerfully. Self-esteem. I possess gifts of the soul that benefit me and others. Pile number 2, there is a lot of personal empowerment energy on your table already. Let's get going with the God knows what tarot deck it is. I really do think it's Tarot of the Divine, but as I said, after a while, all the titles start to run together. It is beautiful. It has Asian-inspired artwork on it, having to do with, I believe, Chinese mythology, but I cannot swear to that because I'm not highly conversant in Chinese mythology. Here we go. Let's get going here. Let's get going here. What do we got for pile number 2 for the month of June? Hi, guys. How are you? I can't see anything. There we go. 1 and 2. I don't wear my glasses on this because the ring light used to reflect off of it so much. And when I adjusted the settings and it wasn't, I actually just found that I read a lot better when I'm a little, like the camera's just a tiny little bit out of focus for me and I'm just not conscious of it. There we go. 1 and 2. What do we got for pile number 2? Good shuffle on this. For all that I'm not remembering the deck name, it's a good shuffle, a good card stock. I have a lot of readers as well. We all like our decks. I like big decks. Here we go. I have the sun in the upright, which is new beginnings. It's healing. It's the beautiful summer sun season, as well as happy positivity and good vibes. Queen, it can be with the Queen of Cups up there. That's some conception energy. That's the mother's energy as well. Remember, particularly for my parents, do not solve your children's problems for them. In the long run, it keeps them in an energy of thinking they need somebody else. Encourage them to have their own personal power and let them know if they failed in something. Failure is an opportunity to learn. There are no real failures. There are just opportunities to do better in the next time and to learn about ourselves. We have the Tower as the foundational card. I'm let's see what that's about. 6 of Cups in the upright. Lots of stuff from the past. I have the Empress in reverse. Innovative solutions is one of the meanings of the Empress in reverse for me. It can be overindulgence, particularly when stressed, because about the only thing that I will allow myself to do is overeat on sugar. I have to watch that. Like, it's one of the things that I'm always trying to be like, okay, fine. Because I live a fairly blame-free life in terms of my diet and things. And the thing that I have a little bit of weakness around is sugar. The Hanged Man in the upright. There's also innovative solutions. Actually, this really is asking you to make a change potentially within your diet. Remember, you will feel better if you're at least taking a multivitamin and drinking appropriate amounts of water, which I'm going to do right now. All right. Ace of Pentacles in the upright. Beautiful, successful, new beginnings. That's your internal influence card. I'm loving the energy of June. I have the Queen of Swords in reverse. Okay, we do have a little bit of a conflict coming up in which you're going to need to know how to have strong boundaries and not let somebody walk all over you. Remember, you do not have to fire a bazooka to enforce a boundary. You simply have to know that you are standing in your righteous energy and that you have a perfect right to emotional safety. And remember, what other people do is about them. What they say and they do is about them. It's not really about you. I had somebody leave an absolutely vicious comment on one of my, I just hearted it and then deleted it because take your energy somewhere else. I'm sorry you're in enough pain to try and hurt other people. And that's the way that you need to kind of look at what other people do towards you. It's not, it's about me, it's about me. It's like, I wonder why they're doing that. What's going on within them that they are casting something towards me to get it out of them? Queen of Swords in reverse is somebody who can't be appeased, or sometimes somebody who cannot face the truth. It's an external influence. Eight of Wands in reverse, that's in the hopes and fears. What's going on here? Four of Wands in the upright. I'm sure that's a really comforting face to see. The reason being, Six of Cups, past life relationship. Four of Wands, one of my twin flame energies. Needing to take a new perspective on the past as well will be helpful. I have the King of Pentacles in the upright. I have the Magician in reverse. The Magician in reverse is a manipulative energy. It can be a trickster energy. It can also be a feeling of being powerless. Here's a hard one to hear, particularly as somebody who does magic. I practice celestial and angelic magic, and sooner or later I really will make the video that explains what that is and how it differs from what's available now. It's the magic of the divine. It's the magic for healers. That's in short, and I will explain it more at a different point, but I do that. And magicians are naturally manipulative because they manipulate energy, and we get to choose what direction we're taking that in. Manipulation for our own ends never works out well over the course of time. It's not the same thing as being deceptive. It's a little bit of a string pulling thing, but you can choose to do that for the greater good, for the good of all, for increasing love, for healing. It's about transmuting energy. And this up there, we'll get to that in a moment. It's the reason I'm making a little bit of a funny face is there's something coming up with somebody from the past, and there's failure energy and regret energy and why, and it's time for a nap and all kinds of things. Ace of Wands in the upright, Three of Swords in reverse. I have the Devil in reverse. That's a card of being healed from codependency. Yay, we're almost all entirely healed. We've got, like I said, these little details. Seven of Pentacles in reverse, Two of Pentacles in reverse, Five of Cups in reverse where I want it. I have the Emperor in the upright, Chariot in reverse. All right, that is closing out a difficult cycle in your life in which you did not feel particularly powerful. More and more, your self-esteem has been building through the hard work that you have been doing, is what this particular draw is saying. Listen, I've got twin flame energy up there, somebody coming on back. Who is not in their best energy. And there needs to be a little bit of acceptance for you to process what's going on around that. There's no right or wrong answer here, but choose forgiveness because we all have something we need to be forgiven for, is one of the energies here. The hanged man in the upright is a new perspective, or it can also be the need to sacrifice something. This is cleaning up. You will do better as a psychic or being able to rely on your intuition, or even as a manifesting agent, if you're able to keep your energy fairly clear. And that doesn't mean you can never indulge. You can never eat a Twinkie. You can never have a drink. You can. It's just that making sure that you live in a good state of balance. If you're going to have a Twinkie, maybe make sure that you had a great big salad beforehand, that kind of thing. Balance out your indulgences with your healthful practices. And this also applies to how you view your relationships. If somebody needs more time to heal on something, which is what that looks like because they got a little lost in their own head, you have a reason to be really cheesed off at somebody. You will like yourself more in the aftermath if you pause and reflect before speaking, because this is somebody who got really, really angry. And so there's a bit of a confrontation energy around that. Business looks amazing. I have new jobs by the end of the month for some seekers as well. I have that earth sign energy, Capricorn, Virgo, or Taurus here and here. Six of Cups is kindness and generosity. Please be kind to yourself. It's important to prepare for the future. It is. But if you're making yourself miserable in the here and now, there are no guarantees. There are no insurance policies. Everything could change entirely. Live with one eye towards the future, but always very firmly rooted in the here and now, making sure that you take steps every single day to enjoy the existence that you have, the love that is available to you, the friendship, the connection. And people are wonderfully diverse. Even if you don't understand somebody, understand that they may have a piece of information about your journey that would help you. And a lot of people who are clinging to some structures that aren't working any longer are doing so out of fear. Have compassion for that. Have compassion for it. Don't let them stand in your way, but don't aim negative energy at somebody and expect something positive to return. Look towards people with an understanding eye and view them as you would wish to be viewed if you too were engaged in something that was based in fear and clinging to crumbling structures in order to try and shore them up. I have winds of change. Your surroundings will undergo a transition. Not in this draw, but there is a little bit of there's a little unrest within the greater world throughout the month of June. Nothing catastrophic, but you do have the Tower here, which is a card of divine intervention. It's a very misunderstood card, and this is actually a very beautiful rendition of it. It genuinely is. The premise is anything built on a faulty foundation must fall. Some things on faulty foundations are falling over the course of the summer. And as they do, remember that change makes way for new things and for better things, and that we have a lot of power in how things develop when things end. We have the Griffin, honor and good luck. And I want one more. Oh, good fortune and friendship, the Unicorn. Group number 2, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful month, but it looks like self-care and talking to yourself appropriately and others is going to be something to keep in mind. You're going to have multiple opportunities to solve problems for people who question whether or not it is a form of codependency. It is better to give somebody the power to solve their own problem than to solve it for them. We don't want to be dependent on other people. And we can accept support, and sometimes we have to be. Sometimes we're laid so low that it's like, oh my God, I couldn't even scrape myself off the floor with a spatula. And then it really is appropriate to accept help from others and to give it freely as well. But it can't be a way of life because that's limiting. We have mirroring, karmic lesson. That's that karmic, the twin flame energy where there's some kind of contact. I don't know if it's in person or not, but the person lagged behind you. There is a mirroring energy, but it's like you are towing them in your wake. And you've changed a lot and you're not even sure what you want out of that is what's on this particular table. Just because you don't understand what form something is taking doesn't mean you were ever wrong. Ego death, surrender, surrender. Ego death is not saying there's something wrong with wanting something, like wanting a relationship, wanting a new home, wanting. It is when you're convinced that you know better than the divine sometimes, or when you won't accept that, like, this will not yield to my incredible efforts. Maybe it's not for me. And that's also this failure energy. Sometimes we bloody our heads against brick walls because we cannot accept that we do not have the power to change something at this particular time. Change what you can, work on what you can, ask for guidance. Surrender is what ego death is about. And then I have healthy boundaries as well. That's a little bit more on the, please remember, it is, as particularly as somebody who works with clients trying to help them heal quite frequently from terrible amounts of trauma. There comes a stage in which, like, there's like, I participate less and less in their solutions because it's what's best for them. Teaching people to have confidence in their own power and to not need to know what's coming up is really my goal. Because listen, I love what I do. I love tarot. I love the fact that we can reach into energy, and I'm convinced there's a scientific explanation behind all of it. I think it has to do with the structure of time, quite frankly. But to really live in a happy and a resonant energy, it is important to simply, like, well, what's coming up tomorrow? I don't know. I'll be able to handle it, and maybe it'll be good because I get up every day and I look for that, which is good. That's how we prepare for the future. We can't ever get a true guarantee about what will happen. But if we believe in ourselves, if we heal ourselves, if we believe in our power, then we have the guarantee that everything will work out because we have us. All right, what else are we going to go for here? Let's get going with you. A fortune card. Somebody just fall over. Yes, but it's from the Infinity deck, which I'm going to have to get up and get for pile number 3. There we go. I just like had to remind myself I'm not wearing pajama pants. I'm like, am I wearing pants that I can stand up? There we go. 1 and 2 and 3. Zoom Nation, we're all used to it. From the waist up, we're perfectly presentable and got rubber duckies on our butts in the background. All right, here we go. Chariot. Charge ahead with confidence, stay strong and focused, and then Eagle. You will soar towards your destiny with greater clarity and strength. So much progress. It's like, you know what this is like? Like, you've been building a house, and like at first the demolition was horrific. And then the framing was like, you couldn't even see what the structure was going to be like. And then the walls went in, and then the wiring went in, and the plumbing went in. And now it's like we've painted things, and now you're going through and you're doing the touch-ups. And that's where this particular pile is in their healing journey, which is awesome. Let's get a messages of love card, although the only thing I have on this table has to do with a twin flame who is got some regret, is what it looks like. And 2 and 3. For anybody who found me through Karen Montowski's podcast, that was just a text from Karen. I'll have to see what it says later. 1 and 2 and 3. What do we got for pile number 2? Healing. Old wounds and childhood issues need revisiting. That is, again, kind of working on friendship. This friendship is leading to more. That is the weird feeling I got off your twin flame thing. Like, it's taking a different shape, a different form, a different path. But that, like I said, just because you were wrong about an initial assessment of something does not mean you were wrong. It just means that you had to heal to take a better view, to see things with clarity, with truth. And that's real love. Don't be upset if you didn't get a fantasy, because the real deal, where it's somebody who has a great deal of variation with them in them and they're not your pillar of strength and you are not theirs. But rather, sometimes that person will need help and sometimes you will need help. And there's a beautiful balanced partnership that's not instantaneous, because just like you were wrecked, that person was a little wrecked as well. Let's get your energy cards. Good money energy, good successful energy, lots of happiness, little bit of a solitary vibe around this. Watch that. It's okay to like to withdraw into self. It's wonderful if you enjoy your own company. If you're spending your time in a beautiful, like, I read, I watch this, I do that page, whatever it might be. If you're enjoying a solitary energy, there's nothing wrong with that. Try to be receptive. Having said that, if you're living in isolation because you fear what other people could do to you, then that is something to work on and try to be receptive. And if you're not like, I don't want to date, I don't want to do this, I don't want to, then just like be open and friendly to store clerks. Whenever you go someplace, be receptive. That's how you set your energy to being receptive to receive more. There we go. Magic prayer is essentially a manifestation energy. I think you had to take a very, 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 very long journey, and that sometimes you wonder if like it was all just a ruse, and it was not. Education, and then slow and steady. You had to learn many new things so that you could have a better experience, so that you could be the best version of you. If it's taken low levels of long, if you allow yourself, you can celebrate and experience joy within all parts of your existence. Even if you spend 3 hours crying in the morning, you can still have a wonderful afternoon as you process this old pain. That white energy frequently is a trauma survivor's card. And sometimes we really do have hideous things happen to us. And it's never about our worth. Other people make choices. And the divine tries to give us as much support as it can in healing. Accept love and support and look for the good in human beings again. Particularly after you've been traumatized, you can lose sight of it. What's coming up for pile number 2? I'm sorry, I just laughed. Like I said, I have my windows open. I think my neighbors just like blazed up the biggest bomb, and I can hear them coughing out there. If you can as well, just know that they're enjoying Friday. The thinking man. Second chakra, Archangel Ariel, blossoming abundance. This is beautiful energy, appreciation, storm warning. We do have a tower on that particular energy. I think it is for the greater world and for change within a relationship that is returning to your life. There's a part of you that's like, hey, really? See what it's meant to be. Just see what it's meant to be. And remember, like, friendships are beautiful even if they never lead to more. If you have 3 really good friends throughout the course of your life, that is a tremendous boon and a tremendous blessing. I'm terrified the door is going to slam in the wind now. Here we go. 1 and 2. This is Tidra's deck. I'm just getting, there's a link to it in the description box down below. I don't get anything if you order it. I just liked it. So I told her if she sent it to me, I would use it. And here's why. It has so much stuff about magic in it, and I have such a magic collective. Generational curses. Apparently, there's one thing about the belt. You always got to come back around to the buckle until you unfasten it. Examining the past without that why, I'm like, how could that happen to me? If there's a divine God, why would there ever be this much pain and this much suffering? I swear to you, we choose our existences, even if it's difficult to understand, because we want to learn lessons, and it's frequently about breaking generational curses. There are multiple things in my life where I can spot a generational curse in play, which is generational trauma being carried forward. And the ways in which I have been fortunate enough to be given opportunities to break it, and have on multiple fronts. There is more to our entire existence than just being like, it's not just wish fulfillment. You will have a better experience if you look for the lessons as well. And if you look at the past with an eye towards appreciating your journey and the lessons that were being brought to you, the ways in which you have improved and expanded, put the why on a shelf wherever you can. And again, like whenever I say things like that and I'm talking to people, I'm always so conscious I could be talking to somebody in agonizing amounts of emotional pain. Please keep in mind, I am never dismissing your pain. It matters so freaking much. It matters so much that you simply deserve to feel better. And that's why a reader or a healer or any type of guidance person might be telling you, don't concentrate on that part. Release your suffering, because you deserve not to be suffering, not because your suffering doesn't matter. Let's get your wellness cards on the table here as well. And then we're going to go for your romance angel. I'm not going to forget it. And 2 and 3. Oh, the golden mirror. Self-absorbed narcissist, one-sided relationship and love bombing. One-sided relationships, that's that codependent stuff where we need reciprocity in relationships, and we need belief in self. Being a problem solver for other people to gain value in their life or in your own eyes does not actually benefit. And then like you're left with like, nobody ever helps me if you're the person who's always problem solving for other people. Have a balanced approach. Camera. Oh dear. Reminiscing, keepsake, perception, learn from the past, make memories. The reason I said, oh dear, is that like that there is something returning here. Girl talk, time with friends, moving on, happily single, living in the moment and having fun. Celebrating your existence is the best way to change your energy signature. And it really is a choice. It really is a choice, because we can let so many things just like drift past us without noticing them. But if you stop and savor as much as you can, you are living in this beautiful, appreciative energy. Like energy attracts like energy. And that doesn't mean that like, hey, I made a big deal out of the bagel I ate. It was wonderful. It was beautiful. Where's my money? What it means is you're enjoying your life. And so no matter what comes to you, you're happy. Healing heart, healing from heartbreak, freedom from toxic relationships or addiction. Healthy choices lead to that. All right, let's check your angel answers card. Oh, I'm sorry, your romance angel. I was gonna like that. I'm pathological around that. I actually had a very nice man go well out of his way to arrange a way to meet me, and discovered that I had hesitation around the idea of having a relationship, and that he was not for me, and that can happen. That there can be somebody who's like, he was successful, he's good looking, he was fit, he like figured out a way to appropriately meet me at good boundaries. And it just, I couldn't manufacture it just because it's like, well, that like this person wants me and they seem nice and well-read and successful and blah, 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 blah. And it just wasn't there. And it wasn't fear-based. It wasn't fear-based, although at first it was. I'm pretty sure like I accused him of being a sexist and maybe a racist all within 10 minutes because I had my boundaries really high. And I was not accurate, but I was trying to fend off something because like in my heart of hearts, I knew it's like, no, that's not for me. And it's not that there's anything wrong with him. It was just, he wasn't for me. He's a very nice man. Maybe we'll end up friends. Honeymoon, enjoy the bliss of the holiday time together and trust. The situation is calling on you to have faith. I guess it's just going to take a lot more than a simple checklist for me to ever like really invest it, because I'm happy by myself. And that's what happens when you heal. You don't try to make somebody fit because you're like, you need somebody there. Instead, you're like, oh, do you fit? No, you don't fit. At least not in that capacity. We have in the near future. And then burnout, take good care with your health and do not deplete yourself. That's what this energy means. I love the energy for June for you. Please take the opportunity to examine the past, not with a why did that happen? You didn't do anything to deserve this. It was not a judgment of you, and nothing ever kicked the crap out of you because it was entertaining. The why is because unfortunately it's part of life sometimes. And there was a lesson in it that a higher part of you wanted to learn so much it was willing to risk the pain, believing in your ability to overcome it. And that's the why. Look for the lesson and you will find the power. All right, group number 2, that was your reading for June. I look forward to seeing you again in July. And we're putting out group number 3. I'm going to have to stand up to retrieve the Runaway Infinity Oracle card deck because I'm going to be using it in the next one as well. All right, here we go. And like I said, I'm glad I thought to put on pants that can be seen on camera because a lot of the time I'm wearing pajama pants with absurd things like cartoon owls on them and everything, because I am basically a giant child. This is the Tarot of the Night, group number 3, and we will be bringing you your predictive spread. We're going to get your oracle cards first. And I want to make sure I separate out your angel answers and your cookie card. I will edit in timestamps after the description, in the description box down below after the broadcast. Premise behind that is if you have a question that I did not answer or an overall reaching theme in the energy, this card will tell us about it, and the cookie cards just tend to be fun. I can lay those out like 7 of them and they form a sentence, but I have a weird relationship to decks, and I'm sure that's pretty obvious. Let's get your archetype cards down, which is Goddess, the feminine expressed through wisdom, nature, life force, and sensuality. The shadow attribute is exploitation of the female form and nature. I have student. Light attribute is humility and devotion to knowledge, openness to lifelong learning. Remember, you will never grow old if you remain open to change, to growth, to expansion. Age is not a number, it's an energy. Shadow attributes: arrogance in the pursuit of destructive knowledge, unwillingness to translate knowledge into action. I don't think you're dealing with the shadow attributes there. Let's find out what that's about. I love the goddess energy. Practical world concerns, a little bit of civil unrest, particularly I believe in the United States, does not look to be catastrophic, but I'm trying to make sure that I mention it. Oh, and no astrology reads this month. I simply, when I started to do them, there was this weird chaotic energy, I think caused by some of the things that happened in late May, and I simply wasn't able to get back to them. So there won't be any this month, but there are a bunch of pick cards for you to choose from. I have meandering path, flow, meandering pathway, flow. I'm not sure where you're going with this yet. I have reflective truth, identity, self-love, and acceptance. So we've got goddess, self-love. Remember, one of the ways to bring love into your life in all forms is to make sure that you treat yourself lovingly, as being important, as your desires, your dreams mattering. And you don't need somebody else in your life to bring those things to you. Do not wait until you have the perfect job, the perfect relationship, or even like the one that you keep hoping will manifest in any shape or form before allowing yourself to experience and indulge and love your life. And indulgence is not just about money. It really is about like, well, take a random Tuesday off and go to the beach if you live near one. It is about celebrating the experience that is available to you, to enhance your ability to love all things, which enhances your ability to love yourself and others. And I have refine your attention and flow with student and goddess. It is, well, it's almost like that's a foreign concept to you. Well, this is the trauma group because it's related to the element of water. Self-love has been a struggle is what it looks like. Set your intentions. New moon on Monday, new moon in Gemini. The new moon in Gemini is when the Gemini season is the time of the year when we are most likely to pair up. If you're interested in new love or in bringing new relationships into your life, or even in bringing more happiness into your life, the new moon on Monday, which is the 30th, is the perfect time to do that. And one of the ways that you can do a new moon intention ceremony is clean your whole house to get rid of old energies. And it's not about being like, oh, cleanliness is close to whatever. It's getting rid of old stuff. And then after that's all set so that you have prepared your new stage to receive new things, then you can simply write down your intentions. You can burn bay leaves in an intention candle, and it's a great time for manifesting spells as well. New moon in Gemini is great for new love work as well. I always tell people, please don't do love magic with a specific target. It doesn't work the way you think it does. This is not about judgment. It's about like the results are like emotionally influential magic comes at a very particular cost to you. Do it where you're trying to attract a soulmate or partner. Even if you have somebody in mind, leaving that name open, it means that you don't carry a karmic burden. I have abundance. I am a limitless being, and I can manifest whatever I desire in this physical reality. Manifest, 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 new moon. There we go. I have discipline. I can accomplish what I set my mind to. You're too disciplined is what I'm getting. Is that like, you might be a little bit like me. For kind of a while, I had to like make myself go do fun things. It's like, oh, I should go do this because it's like flossing. And eventually it took root, but like I was so badly traumatized, I almost died basically. And it took me a long time to heal. And one of the ways that helped me healing was to I had discipline around healing. It used to be called fake it till you make it. It's taking steps to get on the right path is what it really is. I have milk and honey. Gosh, it's beautiful. It's abundant and poised. Good balanced energy. You're still learning things. You do need to make sure that you are, man, you have trouble with like wanting to push back against flow. Refine your attention and then discipline. Do a little bit more receptivity work, more meditative work to try and bring what is meant to come to you next to you. And that looks different for everybody. Not everybody sits and meditates well. In fact, most empaths and psychics can really struggle with it because we have a lot of anxiety issues. Until we have refined our intuition, it almost like bounces back to us in the form of anxiety. Once you have a good target for it, you have faith in it, you have belief in it, then it's less likely to kind of have that feedback. That said, people with a lot of power have very, very busy internal worlds. You can do open-eyed meditation, hiking, walking, exercising, cleaning. If all of these things sound arduous to you, then you can simply do guided meditations as you go to sleep, but try some open-eyed meditation. It's very, 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 very effective. I do great stuff while I'm lifting weights. I really like it. It's genuinely something about smelling off all the physical energy and the very grounding activity of lifting weights allows me to be very receptive. I get like half the ideas for good things while I'm lifting weights. Find the activity that lights you up and allow yourself to be lost in it, and that puts you into a state of receptivity. And yeah, you can actually have assignments where it's like, go have fun. It's important. There we go. Let's go for the Tower of the Night. Group number 3. What's going on for group number 3? 1 and 2. Did I ever get group number 2's Romance Angel? I can no longer recall. There was a lot about twin flames in that one, and honestly, not a lot about new relationships, better relationships with self. So I'm going to go ahead and just keep going with group number 3 here. Group number 3. What do we got for group number 3 in the month of June? 1 and 2 and 3. I have 3 dogs here again today, and they're being so well behaved. It's freaking me out. I'm like, they're downstairs eating the couch or something. Oh, there's puddles behind me. All right. We have the Lovers in the upright. Lovers season. It is the Gemini season that we're heading into. This is the card for Geminis. It's also the card for choices. It's also the heart card for being whole within. I have it with the 5 of Pentacles in the upright, which is literally the card for anxiety, which is what I was talking about with blocking out your ability to join with your higher self. Anxiety is, if you've never had a reading with me, I frequently teach my clients the difference between intuition and anxiety, and it's super simple, and I wish more people would discuss it. Your intuition will give you actionable information. It tells you what is coming up. Even if it's bad news, you're like, I shouldn't go down there. It's something you know. It doesn't raise questions to freak you out. What will happen if I do this? What if that happens? What will I do? That's anxiety. They come from different areas. Your intuition will give you certainty and surety. It will give you actionable information. Your anxiety will make you doubt yourself, and anything that is coming into your mind that is making you doubt yourself, making you fearful, making you question the future, that's anxiety. Throw it to the side and go with the first impulse, which is usually your intuition. All right. 2 of Pentacles in reverse, holding somebody accountable appears to be on the table. 2 of Wands in reverse. Why so many 2s in reverse? Chariot in the upright. Chariot's been all over this. Now, Chariot can actually be one of the cards for war. I don't think it's war. It's being pulled in 2 different directions. It can be physical movement as well. There's great successful energy. But the Chariot was from there as well. We do have a little bit of civil unrest. I don't think it's going to escalate to anything terrible. Be aware there's a fractious energy in the overall world, though. Focus on your stuff. Remember, you have a role to play. If you're in this collective, you're a healer. We have the 4 cups in the upright, which is, in fact, underlying issues and things happening behind the scenes. It can be being haunted by something. Okay. I have the moon in reverse, new moon energy as well. Okay. 2 of Swords in the upright. Needing to make a choice. Sometimes that's being in denial. Do I have denial anywhere? No. The Magician in the upright. Hopes and fears. Knight of Cups in reverse is a card for self-love. Tower in reverse. Ace of Swords in reverse. What are we doing here? We've got Set Your Intentions, New Moon, Magician, Milk and Honey. You're being advised to, particularly if you're struggling around finances with the 5 of Pentacles, new moon work is a good idea. Again, bay leaves, burn them in an intention candle, release and please, they burn like they're made out of gasoline, use tweezers. Release the ashes under the light of the new moon. There is no real light from the new moon, but you are releasing it underneath the sky. I have the Ace of Pentacles in the upright. Who's down there? What's Oscar? I have the Nine of Wands in the upright. I have the Knight of Pentacles in reverse. Page of Wands in reverse. It's a Five of Cups. I beg your pardon. Five of Cups, Four of Cups in reverse here. What? Four of Wands, I'm sorry, Six of Wands in the upright. If I just stumbled really badly, I just picked up something really, really weird. It's going to be so hyper specific and so individual. Give me a minute. I'm not sure I'm going to go into that. I have the Page of Cups in reverse. I have the Hierophant in reverse. Three of Wands in reverse. You have really good opportunity to increase your finances in the month of June. Do some new work, new moon manifestation around that. Know that there is this weird kind of like, energy in the greater world. It's not really reaching you. You withdraw into self a lot, but there is communication with friends as well. And the thing I'm not really sure about whether or not to bring it up is I have a potential loss in somebody's life. It does not appear to be a tragedy. I don't have the Three of Swords with it. I don't have excessive grieving, but it does look like there is potentially somebody known to you who is moving on from this existence. It does not appear to cause you a great deal of pain. It releases you from something. That's what I've got. It does not appear to be a heart-rending loss. It is, I kind of want to say closure on something that was a difficult chapter in your life. It will set you free. That was the thing I really, self-love and acceptance. I really couldn't figure out if that was something I wanted to address or not. Remember that, so please don't panic, because genuinely there is no excessive loss around this. It's just this short-term energy indicates some loss. I just don't have you being anything other than shored up by that. And it's not about celebrating the loss of somebody. It really is about releasing an energy that tried to define you. Here we go. Let's go. Let's go. No, no, no. Sorry. Here we go. We've got happy family, door to romance, many dogs, beautiful stuff around that. Blossoming abundance, appreciation, temple path. You have gorgeous energy, group number 3. You genuinely do. The happy family card is a card of paradise and contentment and fulfillment and joy. Door to romance can in fact be a romantic partner. I'm not sure, this particular draw is not addressing that much yet. I will go to the romance angels, and I will also go to the infinity deck and the messages of love cards on that. I don't have a new romantic pairing here. Like I said, I have a closing of a chapter, but I have zero grief around it. It's just like a definitive ending for something. And like I said, it's freeing. It's freeing. And it might have happened a while ago. It really might have happened a while ago, because like I've got zero, like, it's like you get word on something. There we go. Let's go 1 and 2. What have I got for group number 3 on their Infinity Oracle deck? Inner child healing. Pick these guys up and try again, because nobody landed in the upright, which is how I like to try and take cards when they fall out like that, particularly if I get like 9 of them. 1 and 2 and 3. Temptation, soulmate, winter. Those were all in the upright. Winter is the closing out of a season. The soulmate energy, listen, can't find the pairing on it in this particular energy, but there is an indication of love and romance on the table. Remember, that's going to be very individual. It's a general reading. It can't hold true for everybody, but there's a chance to release the past and to move forward into a very abundant energy. I love the money energy around this as well, because you really are being told that increase is coming to you in many, many areas of your life. You've got a little bit of a struggling to find the light energy at different points. So there's this kind of like the back and forth energy of the Two of Pentacles in reverse and the Two of Wands in reverse. Remember, that's normal as you like purge and release energies. Intense feelings that come like out of absolutely nowhere. Sometimes our guides trying to help us carry something away from us. Let's go for your messages of love energy. 1 and 2, and I'll get an Endure card and a fortune reading card as well. Second time this came up in this reading, strictly sexual. This connection is passionate, but not enduring. Remember, sex is fun, 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 fun. If you meet somebody and you're like, hey, I don't want any great commitments, let's have a good time, make sure everybody's on the same page, and then go have fun. I don't have any indications around this. I really don't. Soulmate. Chemistry. Denial. Strictly sexual, soulmate, chemistry. Boy, that is a strange energy. It could mean that you are embarking on a relationship with somebody that it cannot take full form yet, and that you need to be patient with the path it is taking. Remember, things can develop over the course of time. There's nothing about a friends with benefits energy here, though. And that soulmate energy, we overinvest in the idea of one pairing. We have multiple soulmates throughout the course of our lives that are brought to us to help our soul progress. But this looks more like, honest to goodness, I think that you have somebody entering your life and that you want to make it less than it might be because you're trying to heal. It's okay if you take the long and winding path towards a traditional or committed relationship, or not a traditional relationship on any level. Just don't think you need to know exactly what something is from the first moment it enters your life. Mountain, know that you are protected as you face challenges, but remain cautious. And then Key, new beginnings, directions, and adventures await for those ready to let go of the past. There's a lot of energy group number 3 about making a little bit of effort around releasing the past, just trying to let it go. And it's not about, it's hard to drive a cart forward if you're looking over your shoulder the whole time. Take the lessons and the joy from the memories, but remember that you can't actually go backwards, but you can go forward with more knowledge of self and others. Let go of whatever caused you so much pain in the past that you're a little bit that you're a little bit hesitant around relationships. Sorry, I keep getting, I thought that might have been for me. Hand of Fate. Forces beyond your control intervene. And then the King, authority and diplomacy. You've got 4 here. Imagination clouds your judgment. That can be thinking about the past too much. Emotions are at their peak with water as well. Past losses make you resist new connections. If you are one of those people who has heard that it is better to have loved and lost than never loved at all, and you're like, hell no, it was not. Like the pain, the pain, it took years and it deadened any joy. The memories are clouded and polluted, and please don't do that to yourself. Allow yourself to experience something joyfully. Don't worry about what happens if it ends. You are an entirely different person, even if you don't realize it. You are self-protective in a way that you worked really hard for. The group number threes are always, that's being ruled by the element of water. It will change around throughout, you're not always going to be drawn to the same cloud. And this is about releasing the emotional trauma of the past so that you can experience joy in the present. And you might be holding yourself back from that because you are the imagination cloud, your judgment energy. You're so once bitten, twice shy that you won't let anybody forget about being bitten. You're 5,000 yards distance, please send paper airplanes with messages. That's my preferred method of communication. It won't keep you safe. It will just make you lonely. Allow more to come to you and believe in yourself. Even if something were to go sideways and there's no indication that it's going to, the way you go sideways is different now. You just kind of weeble, wobble, get right back up. All right, I have healthy choices. Making healthy choices in love and in life, self-love, self-care, being happier, excluding relationships to try and protect yourself is not actually a healthy choice. Trying to gain relationships because you can't be by yourself isn't healthy. Trying to live in a completely independent energy because you fear connection is not the most healthful choice you can make either. Believe in yourself enough to take risks on your emotional happiness. With photograph, looking at your memories, missing you, nostalgia, make new memories. I'm telling you, I have this weird, like I said, I've got this weird loss energy, but it's like there's no pain with it. Camera, reminiscing, keepsake, perception, learn from the past, make memories. And I want one more on this. So twin flames, yin yang, zen, balance, union, duality, coupling, complement each other. Twin flames are made from the same energy, and they help highlight within us the things that we need to heal. They can be very, very difficult energies because you meet somebody and you're connected to them at a level that you've never experienced before. If both people, and it usually goes in separation because we're frightened by how much we need to heal sometimes. Go do your healing work and know that you are energetically connected to that person and that your energy does help them. If you believe you have outgrown a twin flame connection, it is possible that you outgrew what you thought it was, or it might have been a karmic lesson. But I have twin flame energy, and I have like a bunch of energy around being urged to continue to try and connect to other people. And if you have been reincarnated multiple times, if you are an old soul, if you have returned to this existence over and over again, please remember you have more than one twin flame. And they aren't always romantic. I know 4 or 5 of my twin flames, actually 5 of my twin flames, and most of them are not romantic. They're people that I were very, very similar people, and I felt very, very connected to them upon meeting them. Now, there is one person that I had that insane chemistry with. It is a very, 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 very challenging energy, and it mostly exists to try and help us evolve. But if you've been doing your work to evolve, allow new connections to come towards you. Even if love kicked your butt, it does not mean that that's what love is there to do. It's just that sometimes that is one of the things that happens from allowing ourselves to be open to somebody. And if you're saying, well, I'm never getting that hurt that way again, I'm just not going to let anybody in. Talk about throwing out the baby with the bathwater. Like, to avoid the sting that can come with connection, you're avoiding every form of expansion, joy, and love. And that's not being healed. That's not truly being healed. Allow love to come to you if it is knocking on your door. And believe in yourself, knowing that if you did all this work to heal, you've learned the lessons that you need to, and it's okay if you backslide occasionally. Just pick yourself up and keep going. I have retreat. It's time to disconnect from the world with calling in your soulmate. Retreat is actually a card of, it can be withdrawing itself. It can be a hermit energy. It can be living in isolation. it can be going deep within in your head. But in the guidebook for romance angels, it's actually about withdrawing from the world with a new relationship. So, all right. Don't know what that means for everybody, but go forth and love fearlessly. You are powerful and you can handle whatever you need to. Let's go for your romance angel, which is wait. Didn't fit with anything else, so I'm not sure what question might be being asked. Love. Oh. It is really possible that you have a connection coming to you that you're going to be very tempted to be like, no, it's a hookup, it's a friend thing, it's just a sex thing, because you don't want to connect. Don't try to define everything for all time. Let things be open and let things flow. Let things to develop into something else, and don't weed out every form of connection as a form of self-protection, because you're not really protecting yourself, you're denying yourself connection. Not quite the same thing. All righty, let's move on to pile number 4. Timestamps will be edited in after the broadcast. Thank you so much for joining me. I am loving the energy of this month, and I hope you guys are as well. The Dream Keeper's Tarot will be bringing you a predictive spread. Number 4 is going to be going in the drawer. I have a dog on my foot right now, and it's really, really distracting because it's Oscar and he's 100 pounds. So, all right, the archetype texts are trickster. Woo. All right, light attribute, transcending convention, stuffiness, and predictable behavior. And then shadow attribute is manipulating others through duplicity. So, how can a trickster energy be positive? Because conformity is about controlling people and keeping them from expanding into everything that they could be. And sometimes tricksters are people who will not conform. They're like, that's a stupid rule, I'm not really going to follow it. One of the reasons that like I can be fun as a reader is that I was so isolated as a child. Like I shared this with a client. I was like, hey, I was almost completely isolated. She said, me too. My 3 brothers. And it's like, no, I didn't have family. I spent all of my time alone. My main caretaker was my alcoholic grandmother, who I sometimes like would only see when I ate. And other than that, I was alone in an entirely empty 8-bedroom house. It was a really creepy, weird thing. But it gave me this world, like, you know, where I could create my own play world. And as a result, because I was also bullied and I was in an academically talented program, because they were trying to make me as weird as they could, and man, did they ever succeed, I was not actually ever socialized in the way that other people were. So I literally didn't learn the same rules, which has really benefited me because it's made me far more accepting and far less, like I follow the rules of like young adult fiction, which was the thing that really raised me, along with late 70s TV, which is very moralistic, and the 80s as well. And it served a real, like, can you imagine what would happen now? And don't let your TV raise your children, but that's actually what happened to me. Books and TV and the church actually raised me. And I went to a very, very liberal and accepting Episcopal church. And then I went to Quaker farm camp. And it was the thing. They say that every abused child needs one positive relationship to stand a chance of ever gaining emotional health. I didn't have any, but I did have my relationship to the goodness of people through fiction, the goodness of people through actual practice of the Christian faith versus like the condemnation and, you know, beating people over the head with scripture. These were very, 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 very liberal people who were trying to live their teachings. And then the Quakers don't believe in speaking much. They believe in living their faith and acting their faith. And so I had wonderful examples. Even if I didn't have one person, I always had my connection to the divine. And it is the thing that, because whenever I'm talking about my backstory and I go into like just how many different forms of abuse I encountered, because I was physically abused, I was emotionally abused, I was sexually abused, I was bullied, I was neglected. And like poor therapists can start to be like, I know what that's a recipe for. That can really screw up a person. If you have one significant, loving, positive relationship in your life to model, you stand a strong chance. I didn't have it from many people, but I had it from multiple structures of very well-meaning intent. And the reason I'm going into that is I can get this card, and the trickster energy is about being a non-conforming person around following the rules that society says that we must adhere to in order to achieve. But remember, those rules are about controlling people more than they are about enabling them to be their most powerful and happy selves. So the reason I'm going into all of that is give yourself permission to follow the rules of decency in all that you do and disregard the other rules, and you will do very, very well indeed in achieving your personal happiness and love and joy. And then the other card is Alchemist, transformation of base motives and goals into golden wisdom with shadow attribute, misuse of power and knowledge that comes through spiritual practice. All right. Angel Answers card and then the cookie card. Remember, Angel Answers card will give you, if you have a question that I did not answer throughout the course of this reading, hopefully the angel answer will. I have TikTok. Everything happens in the time that is meant to. Buy the book. All right. I have New Beginnings, Daffodil Fairy, New Beginnings. The Promise, Soulmates, Attraction, and Partnership. Correct your mistakes. Okay. Part of self-love is accountability. Never be ashamed of admitting that you made a mistake or you stumbled or you fell. And like I'm always saying this, dear God, my 20s, I was like a savage because like I said, nobody raised me. And luckily I had good intent, but like I had no idea what I was doing. I caused a lot of damage and I had been raised around insanely toxic things because the only time I was ever around somebody, it was usually like hideous violence. And so I was happy to be alone. If you have had to learn new things to have better results, don't have shame in that. How could you know to do something that you had never been taught? Forgive yourself and go towards correcting your mistakes, no matter what they may have been. Don't worry about how other people might judge you. Just don't judge yourself. Okay, I have ask for guidance. Don't forget to tap in. Always, 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 even if it is not something that always feels like it's yielding something, it always does. It gets us connected to an energy that wants us going forward and propels us towards expansion and growth. Always try to tap in. And I have to like say that with a slight sound trombone attached to it, because as I've shared before, I'm not the biggest fan of meditating. I move around a lot. I'm a very energetic person, and it's difficult for me to sit still and be like, I'm receptive. It does not work for me. So I have to do open-eyed meditation while working out, while doing all manner of things. Cleaning works really well for me because it's not like I'm ever thinking about it in any depth, and listening to balancing music while I do that. And that's what works for me for meditation most of the time. I have trust. I accept that my inner voice will always guide me correctly. And then I have envy. I am the same as everybody, but with different challenges. Hey, I'm going to talk again about myself for just a moment because that helps. It doesn't get anybody but me in trouble. Envy. When you come from very strange, difficult, sometimes arduous circumstances, you can wonder, why did everybody else get everything? They didn't. I genuinely, please hear me, don't think that somebody has a good life because of what you can see about it. Some people genuinely do, but for the most part, everybody has struggle, everybody has pains. Our outer circumstances are not reflective necessarily of our inner world unless we're working on that. Yes, like energy attracts like energy, but some people are given very easy material existences and they will not be challenged tremendously spiritually, and they won't evolve much in this lifetime. Try not to envy people ease. They don't know the price they're paying, and it's a big one. Don't envy other people because we all need challenge to grow and to expand. If you've had a very challenging existence, it likely means that you're being allowed to evolve, potentially beyond this existence. Why is that wonderful? I don't know. I don't remember it, but like this is a place to learn lessons and to learn the best that we can be, both with ourselves and with others. And there is something more beyond this, and I don't know what it is. And I know it doesn't resemble anything outlined in religious tomes, but I know that that energy of bliss and beautiful paradise and never-ending possibilities is true. I just don't know what form it takes because we can't understand everything in this form, but it's there. So trust that, which is I accept my inner voice will always guide me correctly. And then envy. If you find yourself resenting the good fortune of others, just remind yourself not to. Celebrate what is in your life and know that if you celebrate it and you celebrate other people's victories as well, more will come to you. And it's normal and it's natural to be like momentarily envious of people. You don't know what their background is. Like people who see me walking around in the world have no idea what my background is. And that's not to say that it's pitiful or anything. It's just that like there's something below everybody's surface that you don't know about. Don't envy other people what you can see. Just know that if you're living in the energy of love and expansion, more comes to you. Let's go for pile number 4. That was a long one. We're going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Oh my gosh, I have dogs all like I can't move my feet. 2 of Wands in the upright. This is good plans and choices available to you. It can be travel as well. It's the world is your oyster card. Comes out with the King of Cups. This King of Cups is very interesting because it has I think a quarter moon, not quite a quarter moon, an eighth of a moon as the head. Remember, new moon on Monday, great for manifestations. It's the new moon in Gemini, particularly good for emotional fulfillment, love. The King of Cups can be a water sign, but it's somebody who has emotional balance within, who is self-regulating, can be a little emotionally withholding in a partner sometime. No reason to leave that right here. Knight of Wands in reverse. 9 of Wands in the upright. Knight of Wands in reverse. 9 of Wands in the upright. It's learning good boundaries, particularly around, oh, you used to struggle with your temper and it was because you had terrible boundaries. And it has been improving as you improve your boundaries. Like you didn't know how to defend yourself until you were defending yourself with grenades, basically. You're doing really well with that, though. The Empress in reverse got that landed in the exact same position in another part of the draw. Justice in the upright, divine timing, the Libra card. It can quite literally be justice in the short-term outlook. 4 of Pentacles in reverse, healing of the heart chakra, allowing yourself to be open. Particularly on a healing journey, pardon me, I have allergies, so I'm always wiping my nose. Particularly on a healing journey, we have to, well, we don't have to do anything. It helps us to remember that it's not a destination we reach. I'm healed, and now I will stay in this energy forever, and nothing shall ever touch me nor hurt me again. Realistically, you might get hurt again. You might, but there's always a lesson to be learned from it. Allow yourself to be open to experience so that your journey continues to expand, you continue to learn, and you master more and more energy. We're here to learn lessons about how to live in our power, even when we're challenged. And that's another reason that you might have had a lot come at you. The worse your experiences have been in life, the chances that you are very, very powerful are that much greater because your soul was known to be able to handle a great many difficulties and obstacles. Know that what feels like an affliction can also simply be a mark of how respected and powerful you truly are by the powers that be. When you tap in, remember that. 2 of Cups in the upright in the external influence area. 3 of Swords in reverse. Ace of Wands in the upright. Man, creative energy just flowing through June like gangbusters. I have the 10 of Cups in reverse. The Star in reverse. It can be an emotional, like a psychic connection, a psychic conducy as well. In that, it can be a family argument. It looks like you may have to enforce boundaries with a family member who's used to manipulating you with guilt, quite frankly. 7 of Pentacles in the upright because you feel like you failed them and you did not. With the Chariot in the upright as well. Chariot's been a very big factor in this read. Being pulled in 2 different directions. As I said in other areas, it has not shown up in anything other than I think the first draw, which makes sense because that's the Earth draw. That's going to be the practical world. There is some civil unrest and conflict in the greater world. It does not appear to be so pitched that you need to worry about it. The only reason I'm mentioning it is so that you can know, keep going on your path. There's more on the other side of this, no despair. The Tower in the upright. Four Cups in reverse, things happening in the background, underlying issues. Hanged Man in reverse can be a sacrifice. The Moon in reverse is a card of intuition, being guided from within. You've got some advice around tapping in. There will be some confusing energies, particularly in your workplace, about mid-June, and you will feel more settled and have more confidence in your ability to decide things if you're taking the time to meditate, even though you don't like to do that when you're stressed. I have the Hierophant in reverse, God's same position. King of Pentacles in the upright with the 10 of Wands in reverse. Relaxation, releasing burdens from the past. I'm not super jazzed about that Hierophant in reverse because that can be governmental structures. It can be marriages. It can also be the fall of traditionalism. And there was a call here to make sure that you think outside the box and don't wed yourself to tradition. Most traditions are based in the need to control versus the need to celebrate anything. Honest to goodness. Like brides wearing white on their wedding day. Sure, it makes for a pretty dress, but there's a really creepy reason they do that. And I'm not going to go into it. It's just, there is more to a tradition than what is celebrated about it. Don't be afraid to question tradition or to make changes within your own life and support them in the world around you, because change is the way things get better. Let's keep going here. What else have we got on this table? Good emotional fulfillment, but you need to make good choices around that. You have trouble, you struggle with trust. The by the book energy, don't be afraid to break a rule for yourself. Like, I will never get involved with somebody again. I will never do that to myself again. I will only allow this, that, and the other into my life. Don't make rigid rules around your life. It limits what can come to you. Intuition is so on point for you, though. The perfect timing card, the Justice card. I particularly like this one because she has four hands. And that is one of the things that represents the elements for me, which is living in a very, very balanced state. It's TikTok. Perfect timing. There's a challenge coming to you around expanding and allowing more into your life. You're resistant to it. Examine whether or not you are a little resistant to change at this point. You don't think of yourself as being that way, but you are. Because you want to get into a very productive and settled energy and then repeat a routine. And if you could learn anything, it is that your routines have damaged you more than they have helped you. They kept you locked into an energy and locked into, in some cases, relationships because you feared what would come if you were no longer doing these things that had kept you safe. And eventually Tower energy comes along and sweeps it away anyway. Go towards change. Go towards change. Safety is not contained in repetition. Even if it's something good, doing it over and over again just makes it commonplace and stops being good. It's like if you love a certain food and you eat it every day for a week and you're like, yum, 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 yum. You get to day 7 and you're like, oh God, this again. Repetition does not give you a broad experience. Just be a little aware of that. Let's go for your Infinity Oracle cards as well. Good energy around this. A lot of tests around your temper. You do really, really well with it. You should have been noticing that for like the last couple of months. It's almost like things come along and just randomly poke you to see how you will react. And you make note of the times that you've done well. Don't just catalog the times where you're like, I wish I'd done better. Give yourself accolades, not just to-do lists. Got 1 and 2. And 3. Hey, everybody, how are you? Hope everyone's well. Remember, I'm blind as a bat. So you're nice, fuzzy, happy, friendly chatter people. For all I know, it's the people with porn links again, which always cracks me up. Like, how does anybody make that association? Talk to the trauma healing lady about porn. All right, here we go. I have inner child healing. That card came up before. It really is, oh God, soulmate. Dear God, temptation, crossroads, counsel and therapy. Two of Cups there too. Yeah, it's soulmate energy. Don't I sound thrilled about that? The only reason I'm hesitating around this is that this group loves its independence. That's what I keep encountering with group number 4. Is if anything, it's a little bit like number 3 is going flying there. If anything, it's a little bit like they have to trick you into allowing more into your life sometimes. And again, you don't think of it this way, but that's extreme safety seeking. Which, because you're not a conforming thinker, it's a little bit of a contradiction in self. So ask yourself what you're afraid of. And you do have some type of pairing coming to you, and it looks like it might be romantic, but we'll check with your messages of love cards and the romance angels as well. We're also going to get one from Teacher's Deck. Remember, a link to buy that is in the description box down below. I don't receive anything if you do. I just, when people hang it out there and they try and accomplish something, if we hold each other up and we build each other up and we try and help each other, everybody does better. This is a community where there's enough diversity for all, and there's wonderful readers out there. Don't ever begrudge anybody anything else. Just live in a generous and a kind and an encouraging energy, and all that is meant for you, all that is your due, all that wonderful abundance and increase, it comes to you. You're not in competition with anybody. You're just trying to hone who you are. Snake, use your intuition and healing powers. They will guide you to a better path, but be careful. Thorns, weathering the challenges ahead will bring a new and positive future. And remember I said that it's like you're being tested? You're being tested a little bit. And on the be careful thing, that's not warning you that people are out to get you. It is telling you to pay attention to the ways in which you're limiting your experience. Be careful, be observant of yourself. And if you are rejecting things, again, trying to find safety, which is the energy that I've got here, examine that, because what will it truly yield over the course of time other than a limited experience? And you came here to have the biggest experience that you can. My collective is so powerful. I love reading for the people I read. They like have all these wonderful, wonderful gifts. But when you have great power, an adversarial force tries to make sure that you can't express it. And so you've likely had obstacles and challenges. Go towards your true power and allow more to come to you. Earth, utilize logic, reason, and common sense. You sometimes talk yourself out of things with that, though. We have the minstrel. Let your intentions be known. Oh, Black Cat, which has been all over this reading as well. Your luck will soon change, and it's for the better. Minstrels are also entertainment and frivolity, and even if the world is a dumpster fire at different points, you don't just have to sit and stare into the flames. Find that which is beautiful and celebratory, and it will, because you're powerful people who can manifest, who can amplify energy, because you transmute energy. Think of how powerful that is in the suffering world. Go towards joy, go towards connection, go towards love, go towards healing. You will add more and more to this world, and my collective wants to make the world a better place. Make your world a better place. You transmute energy. As you make yours a better place, it amplifies and ripples out from you. Let's get your messages of love cards as well, because there's something about a human. If it's all the same cards again, I'm going to freak the heck out. Here we go. 1 and 2 and 3, and timestamps will be edited in after the broadcast. Trust. Oh man, you struggle with that. Maybe because things have taken too long with that by the book and TikTok. Listen, throughout those stress tests where it's like something was poking at you and you're like, I am doing well, but quit poking me. That was also an indication that you still had things to heal. If absolutely everything that you were promised has not come to you yet, but you have been passing tests, intuition is the only one that fell out in the upright, so I'll be taking that and then I'll get some more. You already know the answers you seek. That's why. And don't ever be ashamed of being deeply injured if people went out of their way to injure you. And like, even if they didn't, there's no shame in being in pain. There's no shame in needing to heal. There's no shame. Shame is the least productive energy that we can ever inhabit. Love yourself, love your existence, love the opportunity to heal. Vulnerability. You can be completely open with this person. Okay. Here and now, your true love is already a part of your life. Could be somebody you already know, could be a friendship that's evolving into more, could be a twin flame returning. Let's get a teacher deck card here. It's the Apparently So deck, which I love because it's square and very easy to shuffle. It has a good weight on that. For people who have to shuffle all day long, sincerely, the shape, the size, the weight, the cardstock, so important. Good cardstock, good shuffle. Love the common sense, down to earth, direct wisdom of it as well. Good luck. You've got good luck energy all around this. Blessings of good fortune come when the next moon is done. New moon is on Monday. The moon in Gemini, which is one of the energies for pairing up. And it may be part of the reason that there's so much love energy around this particular reading. Let's get your romance angel, then we'll get some wellness cards just in case. Then I'm going to go to your angel answers card and your cookie card, and we're going to close this out. And I will see you again in, oh my Lord, July. There we go. 1 and 2 and 3. And 2 dogs are no longer on my feet, so I wonder where they've gone. There we go. 1 and 2. Our spirit guides, one of the ways they come to us through animals, bringing us parts of ourselves that we can heal. It's when they say that like animals resemble their owners or like their owners, that's part of it. They can bring you former versions of yourself, the energy of trauma and areas of your life that you didn't get to expand on. And they are a form of spirit guide. They are. Now, does it graft itself onto a living soul? Yes. Like we are more than one thing. We are more than one thing. Just like light workers and star seeds and healers, and like there's a human soul attached to that as well, but there is an ancient galactic energy with it too. It's part of the collective that you're from. Give your relationship a chance, work on your partnership. It is safe for you to love. Open your heart to give and receive the highest energy of all. Listen, group number 4, it's like there's something in your life that wants to expand. And there could be a returning energy with that. There really could be. The reluctance around, even if you got put through a meat grinder in terms of personal relationships in the past, that does not mean that's what relationships do. That is indicative of, well, I still had miles to walk and paths to grow on and things to expand on in understanding myself and others. Every relationship you have will be different as you become different. Do not exclude relationships based on past experiences if you've been doing your healing work. And if you haven't, yeah, no, sometimes you need to stay by yourself for a while in order to become a whole version of yourself, instead of trying to marry your energy to somebody else. Making sure that you're concentrating on your own energy is one of the ways to become whole within. When you're whole within, you have completely different relationships than you do when you're having these kind of what I call trauma bonding experiences. And it's not bonding with an abuser, which there's like a form of like, hey, trauma bonding is when you bond with your abusers, and it's almost like Stockholm syndrome. There's a different form of trauma bonding. It's where people who they bond through their damage, they have matching wounds. A lot of the relationships that you've had in the past when you're traumatized can be about bringing you the opportunities to examine those wounds and to heal them. As you heal, what is brought to you is made different because you are different. I have love calls. Someone expresses love, a message of love, thinking of you and letting you know. Not today, not dealing, hurt, avoiding a conversation, boundaries, and still angry. And then I have cassette, outdated thinking. The past is dictating your actions in present relationships. And you're just being asked to examine that. I'm getting one more just in case. 1 and 2 and 3. And we're going to check your cookie card and your angel answers. Mirroring each other, self-image. Relationships reflect our wounds and introspection. If you're healed, then what would mirroring be like in a relationship? Be with somebody who might be working on their minor, like I said, for building a house from the ground up. You're at the stage where you're going through and doing touch-up work on the painted walls. And that's the type of person you would attract when you're healed. Let us get your angel answers card, which is no. And then opportunities. An important offer will be made, be prepared and dressed to impress. The no energy, that's a boundary. Remember, if somebody cutting things off at the pass so that you won't be hurt is not believing in your ability to set appropriate boundaries and to exercise your personal power. And that's why it can get a little bit repetitive of like, don't shut yourself off to connection to protect yourself. Don't be self-protective at a level that is self-denying. Allow more to come to you and allow expansion to be part of your life. You did all that work for a reason. It wasn't just so you could hang out with the coolest version of you. It was so the coolest version of you could meet its matching energy in the coolest version of other people as well. And occasionally we are attached to people who are also on their healing journey. And when they come back, find out who they are now versus who you think they might have been based on who they were when you last knew them. All right, that was the Spirit Mod Monthly for June. Take care, be well, continue on your healing path.